Welcome students to our geometry class. Chapter 2, Pythagoras Theorem, Part 5, Problem Set 2. Sum number 14. In an isosceles triangle, length of the congruent sides is 13 cm and its base is 10 cm. Find the distance between the vertex opposite to the base and the centroid. Now in this particular sum, they have not given the figure. So we need to draw the figure, and after drawing the figure, we need to give some instructions that what we have assumed in the figure. Okay, which letters. So this is our figure here. Triangle ABC we have taken as isosceles triangle. Now they have given the length of the congruent sides. In our triangle here, AB and AC are the congruent sides. They have given congruent side is 13 cm. So AB is equal to AC will become 13 cm. And the base is given 10 cm. So in our figure here, base is BC. So BC is 10 cm. Now we have drawn AM perpendicular to BC, which is not given, but we have drawn so that it will be helpful for us to solve the sum. So AM perpendicular to BC is a construction such that B dash M dash C. So that also you need to mention. Okay. Now here what is asked to find actually? So they have told us to find the distance between the vertex opposite to the base and the centroid. Now vertex opposite to the base we have assumed as BC. So the vertex opposite to BC is A. Okay. So the distance between A and the centroid I have taken as G for now. Okay. Now we have to find AG. But if you remember in 9th standard we have studied about the property of centroid in a triangle, and a centroid is actually the intersection of the medians, okay, of triangles. So here we don't have a median, and centroid will lie only on the median. So our first objective is also to find, before getting AG, okay, in the figure, we need to prove that this point G lies on the median. Okay, so we have to prove that AM is a median also. Okay, and then we have to find how much is AG. So now coming back to how do we reach there. So if you remember the property of a centroid, what we studied, that this AG here, okay, if AM is a centroid, if AM is a median, then AG becomes 2/3 of AM. So if we get how much is AM, and if we prove AM is a median, we can solve the problem. So we need to find AM as well as we need to prove that AM is a median. So how we can reach to AM? Okay, by Pythagoras. But Pythagoras only we can use if we know the two sides. If you see, there are two right angle triangles. If we get to know any two sides, that is, if this is already known 13, if we get to know BM, we can find AM by Pythagoras. Now BM, BC we know, BM we don't know. So before that, what we will do is we will prove these two particular triangles congruent. Okay, they are both right angle triangles, and there is a test for a right angle triangle in congruency, and that is hypotenuse side theorem. So we will just check by any other test or by Pythagoras, by hypotenuse side theorem we can prove. For hypotenuse side theorem, the hypotenuse should be congruent to the hypotenuse, and any one side congruent to the other side. So here in both the triangles AB and AC are the hypotenuse. If you see triangle AMB and triangle AMC, both are right angle triangles, and hypotenuse AB congruent to hypotenuse AC, because they are also the congruent sides of isosceles triangle. And AM congruent to AM, common side. So yes, we can use hypotenuse side theorem here. So what we do is we take both the triangles, triangle AMB and triangle AMC, and we first mentioned that both the angles AMB and angle AMC are 90 degree by construction. And therefore, hypotenuse AB congruent to hypotenuse AC, AM congruent to AM. Please also write the reason, common side given, and therefore these two triangles AMB is congruent to AMC by hypotenuse side theorem. Okay. After we prove that the two triangles are congruent by hypotenuse side theorem, we can write BC is congruent to CM. BM congruent to CM. Now BM congruent to CM, we can write corresponding sides of congruent triangle. The remaining sides of a congruent triangle are also congruent. So BM congruent to CM, and the reason we'll give is CSCT. After proving these two triangles are congruent, BM congruent to CM. Now BM congruent to CM, that means BM becomes half of BC. And BC we know 10 centimeter. So if BC is 10, BM and CN becomes 5 centimeter and 5 centimeter. Okay, BM is half of BC. So BM is 5 centimeter. So that we need to mention. So if you see here, BM equal to CM, corresponding sides of congruent triangle, and therefore BM is equal to CM is half BC. BC is 10. Therefore 2 1s are 2 5s are. Therefore BM and CM both we get as 5 centimeter. You can see in the figure also. Now once we get BM and CM, if we look at this particular triangle AMB, you can take any triangle. Both are right angle triangles. So we'll use Pythagoras in any one triangle. So if we take triangle AMB, AB square is equal to AM square plus BM square. Out of that we know the two sides. So we can find AM. Okay. So we use in triangle AMB, major angle AMB is 90 degree construction. By Pythagoras theorem, AB square is equal to AM square plus BM square. Now AB and BM we know. AB is a congruent side, BM just now we found. So we'll put 13 and 5. Okay, so we put 13 square, 5 square. We just do the shifting. You know this simple calculation of Pythagoras theorem. Then after shifting numbers on one side, 13 square is 169, 5 square is 25. And when we subtract 169 and 25, we get 144. That is AM square is equal to 144. But 144 is a square of 12. So by taking square root on both the sides, we get AM is equal to 12 centimeter. Please write this reason, very important. Now AM is 12 centimeter. I'll show you in the figure where is AM. This is AM. Okay. So when we get AM, I told you that we can find AG, but only when we prove AM is a median. So now first we have to prove that AM is a median. Just before we prove that BM is equal to CM, correct? Which is given here. BM is equal to CM, CSCT. So after proving BM is equal to CM, that means M is the midpoint. Okay, if M is the midpoint of BC, then AM becomes a median. Okay, so same thing we will mention. BM is equal to CM. We have proved in statement 1 after proving the triangles are congruent. Now if BM is equal to MC or CM, then AM becomes a median. And therefore this point G which we have taken becomes a centroid on it. Okay. And now the property of a centroid which we have studied in the 9th standard. That is, if G is a centroid, if AM is a median and G is a centroid, AG is 2/3 of AM. Okay, AG is 2/3 of AM. And the other property we had studied last year is GM is 1/3 of AM. But here now in this sum we don't have to do anything with GM. So we will only solve with AG. So AG is 2/3 of AM. And we know AM now. Just now we found AM is 12. So we'll write the property, centroid property of a triangle. Reason is important. AG is equal to 2/3 of AM. AM we have found 12. We just replace it 12. 3 1s are 3 4s are 12. 4 2s are 8. So AG is nothing but 8 centimeter. But if you go back to the question, they have not asked us what is AG. They have asked us the distance between the vertex opposite to the base and the centroid, that distance we want, and therefore you have to conclude the answer with this particular statement, that is the distance between, therefore the distance between the vertex opposite to the base and the centroid is 8 centimeter. Sum. In a trapezium ABCD, segment AB is parallel to segment DC, segment BD perpendicular to segment AD, segment AC perpendicular to segment BC. If AD is 15, BC is 15 and AB is 25, find area of quadrilateral ABCD. Now in this case the figure is given, we just have a look at the figure. So it's a trapezium, ABCD is a trapezium. Then what perpendiculars they have given is, you can see here that AD and BD, they are perpendicular. They are shown with a 90 degree. And AC and BC are perpendicular. They have shown here with 90 degree. And the distances what are given is AD is 15, then BC is 15. And AB, the base, one of the, this base, okay, or one of the side of a trapezium is 25. So this 25 is this full length. Then you will see something in dotted lines. This is a construction what is being done so that it helps us to solve the sum. So perpendicular, this DM is perpendicular on the base AB and CN is also the perpendicular on base AB. Now, since they have asked us the area of this particular quadrilateral, and we know what is this quadrilateral, it's a trapezium. We also know the formula for area of a trapezium, and the formula is area of a trapezium is equal to half into sum of the parallel sides into height. Now in this case the parallel side is CD and AB, and the height is not given, therefore we have assumed this height. Okay, both DM and CM will be same. Okay, the distance between two parallel lines, whether it is DM or CM, will be same. We have studied this in first lesson also. So here we have to find DM, or even if you find CN, it will be same. So we have to find the height. Okay, and we have to find the parallel sides which we don't know. One side we know, AB. So now our objective is to find DC or CD, which is not given. Okay, so how do we reach here? By getting DC and the height. So we begin with our sum. Since the figure is given, we'll start directly. In triangle ADB, now if you see here these perpendiculars which are given, those perpendiculars have formed right angle triangles. Okay, we'll see first which are those right angle triangles. Triangle ADB. Please observe only triangle ADB and you will see that it is a right angle triangle. And in this particular right angle triangle which I am showing you now, okay, two sides we know, that is side AD as 15 and side AB as 25. So it is easy for us to find the third side by Pythagoras, that is side BD. Similarly, if you see this triangle which I am showing you now, that is ACB or ABC, again this is also a right angle triangle. And therefore, in a right angle triangle, if you see which I am showing you now, we know two sides, that is AB and BC. So we can find the third side. The third side is AC. Okay, so any one we can prove. No need of taking both the triangles. I will tell you why. We need only one triangle. So you can take any one triangle and you can start. Okay, we don't have to take both the triangles and prove. So what we do is we'll take triangle ADB, where angle ADB is 90 degree. Therefore, by Pythagoras theorem in triangle ADB, AB is the hypotenuse opposite to 90. So AB square is equal to AD square plus BD square. Out of this, AD and AB we know, which is given. So we substitute AB as 25, AD as 15, and we next step is to shift the numbers on one side. So we shifted the numbers on one side. 25 and 15 goes to the other side, it becomes minus 15 square. 25 square is 625, 15 square is 225. When we subtract, we get 400. Okay, now 400 is BD square is equal to 400. So taking square root on both the sides, BD is 20, because 20 into 20 is 400. So square root of 400 is 20. So we got here BD as, I'll show you the figure. Here BD as 20. Okay. So this BD is 20. Now once you get BD, you don't need to find AC, because you will see here in triangle this ABC, hypotenuse is same which was there for earlier, that is 25, and BC is also 15. So it is going to be the same sum. So AC is also 20, but we will not need AC, but you can write that even AC will be 20. How AC will be 20? Because which triangle we had taken, triangle ABD, there also hypotenuse was 25 and one side this was 15. Even in triangle ACB, hypotenuse is 25 and other side is 15. So it is going to be the same calculation. So AC will also be 20, which is, we will write after finding, I can show you here, BD is 20. Similarly, AC is also 20. Okay. Now, after we find how much is BD, look in the figure. After finding BD, now if we found for this particular triangle, correct? Triangle ABD. Okay, BD we found. Now if you look at this particular triangle, same triangle ABD, if we take AD as the base and BD as the height, can we find the area of this triangle? Yes. In triangle ABD, if AD is the base and BD is the height, we can find area of the triangle. So we will do it. That is, we will find area of the triangle. Half into base into height. So as I said, that we will take BD as the height and AD as the base, which is shown here. Okay. In that case, AD was given 15, BD we found 20. So that is just a substitution here, and then we'll do the calculation. That is 2 ones are 2 tens are 15 into 10 is 150 square units, because it is area. Okay. So what we found is, we found the area of triangle ADB with base as AD and height as BD. Now if you look at the same triangle and if you take AB as a base, okay, if you take AB as the base, you see here, same triangle I am talking, ABD. Just now we had taken AD as the base and BD is the height. In the same triangle, if I take AB as the base, the height will be DM, which is the construction. Okay. So the same thing we will use here, saying that area of triangle ADB is equal to half into AB into DM. So I have written that statement here. Okay. Now earlier we solved it by taking AD as the base and BD as the height. Now same triangle we will take by taking base as AB. If base is AB, then height is DM. So here, but just above we have found the area of ADB as 150. So we will put that ADB 150. Okay, and then we will put AB as 25, which is given here. AB is 25, and DM we don't know. This height we don't know. So just by shifting 2 to the other side, 25 to the other side, we do this calculation. Okay, and after the calculation we get the answer 12. Okay, just do the cancellations. Now DM we got 12. If you see here in the figure, DM is the height. Okay, so DM we got 12. Now DM and CM will be same. Correct? Because they are the heights between two parallel lines and which are same. So whatever is DM, same will be CN. Okay. Now if you look at this quadrilateral DCNM, DM is congruent to CN, and if you see that the angles of this quadrilateral, these two angles are 90 plus 90. Okay, so if we add these two, 90 plus 90, it is 180. That is, the angles, adjacent angles are supplementary, and that proves that DM parallel to CN. Okay, if DM parallel to CN and DM congruent to CN, then DMNC is a parallelogram. If you want, I will explain you again. Just now we found DM is 12. If DM is 12, CN also is 12 because they are the heights between two parallel lines which are congruent. Then we have taken construction that DM and CN are perpendicular on AB. Therefore, this particular angle DMN and CNM both are 90 degree. And if you see here, 90 plus 90 is 180. They also form the interior angles. Okay, they form the interior angles which are equal to supplementary. Therefore, DM parallel to CN. Okay, or you can also use that property that if this is a quadrilateral DCNM, then the adjacent angles are supplementary. Therefore, it's a parallel. DM congruent to CN and DM parallel to CN. Therefore, DMNC is a parallelogram. So, we will write down that first. So, how do we write that? So, we write here that is DM is equal to CN. Height between two parallel lines, DM is equal to CN. Then after that, we write that angle DMN plus angle CNM is equal to 180 degree. Okay, that is 90 plus 90, and therefore DM parallel to CN. DM parallel to CN. Okay, because when the interior angles are supplementary, the lines are parallel. Therefore, with these two things, that is DM is equal to CN and DM is parallel to CN, we can say that this quadrilateral DMCN is a parallelogram. So DMNC, it should be quadrilateral DMNC. Okay, so DMNC is a parallelogram. Now once we prove it's a parallelogram, opposite sides of a parallelogram are congruent. So MN is congruent to DC. Okay, we have to find DC. So if we get MN, we can find DC. So once we prove it's a parallelogram, MN becomes equal to DC. So we'll see how we can reach up to MN. Okay. Now if you see here in the figure, we want MN. If we get MN, then only we'll get DC. Now if you see this particular triangle DMA, it's a right angle triangle. In this DMA, we know DM, just now we found the height, then we know DA, it is given. So we can find AM. by Pythagoras theorem. Okay, same thing will happen here. That is, in triangle CNB, it is a right angle triangle. Okay, angle CNB is 90 degree. So we can use Pythagoras. We know CN and we know CB. So we can find BN. Now both the cases, in both the triangles, you will find one side is 12, other side is 15, and we have to find the third side. One side is 12, other side. So even if you find one, the other one answer will be same. Okay, so we will use this here. Okay, if you look at triangle DMA, measure angle DMA is 90 degree. Therefore, by Pythagoras theorem, you will see here AD square is equal to DM square plus AM square. We know AD 15 square, we'll write. We know DM, we'll write 12 square plus AM. Now shifting to the other side, 15 square is 225, 12 square is 144. Shifting, it will become minus. Okay, and when we subtract, we get 81. AM square. By taking square root on both the sides, AM we got as 9. Okay, we got AM as 9. As I told you that you don't have to find the other side. Similarly, we can write BN is also 9. The reason is, here also hypotenuse is 15. The other side triangle CNB also hypotenuse is 15. Here also one side is 12, here also one side is 12. So answer is going to be same. So you can straight away write similarly. BN is also 9. Now we know AB, we know AM, we know BN. We can find MN by subtracting. So that is what is written. What is AB actually? AB actually is AM plus MN plus BN. Out of that we know AB 25, we know AM 9, we know BN 9. So we can find MN. 9 plus 9 is 18. When 18 is shifted there, it becomes minus 18 and then 7. So MN we got 7. If MN is 7, DC is also 7. Why? Because we have proved that this particular quadrilateral is a parallelogram. We have proved it. Okay, if this is a parallelogram, opposite sides are congruent. So we'll write that since we have proved that triangle is a parallelogram, we write opposite sides are parallel. Okay, and opposite sides are equal. Okay, now we have got everything what is required for finding the area of a trapezium. So we know the parallel sides, we know the height. So we use the formula area of a trapezium is equal to half into sum of parallel sides into height. So half into what is the sum of parallel side? AB plus CD into height is DM. AB is 25, CD is 7 and DM is 12. Okay, and therefore half into, we add this 25 plus 7. Okay, that is 32 into 12. So half into 32 plus into 12. So 2 ones are 2 6 and therefore we get 32 into 6, which is equal to 192 square units. It's very important to write square units. Units are not given, so you will write square units here. Otherwise, if it was given, you will write whatever, square centimeter or square meter. So this is your final answer. Sum number 16. In the figure, triangle PQR is an equilateral triangle. Point S is on segment QR such that QS is equal to 1/3 of QR. In this case, the figure is given. Okay. So they have given triangle PQR and they have given that point S is on QR such that QS is 1/3 of QR. Okay. And we are asked to prove that 9 PS square is equal to 7 PQ square. Now here one thing we have to take is we have to take that PT is perpendicular to QR. Okay, so if we take PT perpendicular to QR, we'll get Pythagoras theorem we can use, or even they have given that it is a equilateral triangle, that is triangle PQR. Therefore we'll get 60 degrees somewhere, so 60, 90 and somewhere we'll get 30, so we can use 60, 30, 60, 90 degree theorem. We'll see that how it goes. So first thing what we'll do is we'll take that PT is perpendicular to QR such that Q dash T dash R. Okay, and then we start our sum saying that since they have given PQR is a equilateral triangle, we know that all the angles are 60 degree, or therefore here angle Q becomes 60 degree, angle R becomes 60, and yes, of course, P is also 60 degree. So next we write that all the sides are equal. So PQ is equal to QR is equal to PR. So these two things we'll first mention before we start. So I can just show you the figure along with this, what is written. Yes. So first thing we need to write, since it is given a equilateral triangle, that the angles are 60 degree. Okay, all the three angles are 60 degree, and all the sides are equal. After that we will, if you see here, PQT. So in this PQT triangle, angle PTQ is 90 degree construction, angle PQT is 60 degree. It is given that it is an equilateral triangle. Therefore, angle QPT becomes 30 degree, remaining angle of a triangle. Therefore, triangle PTQ we get as 30 degree, 60 degree and 90 degree triangle. So first thing we'll prove that. Okay, we'll prove PQT. We know two angles, one angle is 90, other angle is 60, so the remaining angle is 30 degree. So first we will use 30 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree triangle theorem in triangle PQT. Okay, now here they have given as only one thing, that is QS is 1/3 of QR. Using this we have to reach to what is asked to prove. So now we'll use both the properties of 30 degree and 60 degree. Side opposite to 30 degree, that is QT, is half the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is PQ. And the side opposite to 60 degree, that is PT, is √3 upon 2 the hypotenuse, that is PQ. So first we'll mention both. Okay, if you can see here, we have mentioned both. Okay, side opposite to 30 and side opposite to 60 degree. Okay, here in reason you can write side opposite to 60 degree and here you can write side opposite to 30 degree. Okay, you can mention that. After that, now as I told you that we have only one information, that is QS is half of QR. So we'll write QS plus ST is QT. Okay, see here, QS plus ST is equal to QT because Q dash S dash T. Now QS is given is 1/3 of QR, that we will substitute here, and QT is half of PQ we got from this theorem. So since only QS information is given, what we'll do is QS plus ST is QT. Instead of QS we'll write 1/3 of QR which is given, and instead of QT we'll write it is half of PQ which we found from this theorem, 30 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree. Okay, now just solving this, that is here 1/3 of PQ here is equal to QR. Okay, because QR and PQ are the sides of an equilateral triangle. So first step, I have substituted QS is 1/3 of QR which was given, and QT is half of PQ from the above statement. Now instead of this, I'll show you, instead of this QR I have written PQ. The reason is triangle PQR is an equilateral triangle, so all the sides are equal. Okay, and we have written that in statement 1. Clear? So here directly I will substitute QR as PQ. I write everything same, only here instead of QR I will write PQ from 1, because in 1 I have written how all the sides are equal. Okay. After that, in the statement I shift all the similar things, PQ on one side. Okay, and ST remains on one side. So my statement becomes ST is equal to half of PQ minus 1/3 of PQ. Now this type of question, when we are doing operations with the fractions, you have studied in the lower standard, right, from 6th standard maybe, that we cannot solve the fractions when the denominators are not same. So first we have to equalize the denominator. So in order to equalize the denominator, what we do is we multiply 3 to this denominator 2, and we multiply 2 to this denominator 3. Okay, so the denominators will be 6. So this is how, when we multiply here, we have to multiply with 3. So up also we multiply by 3. Sorry. Here I multiply by 2. So up also I have to multiply by 2. So we get 3 PQ minus 2 PQ upon 6, which is equal to 3 PQ minus 2 PQ is 1 PQ. 1 PQ, or you can write simply PQ. Okay, so basically we have got that ST is PQ upon 6. Okay, now we go to triangle. I'll show you the figure. We go to triangle PTS. If you look at triangle PTS, it's a right angle triangle where PS square is equal to PT square plus ST square. So that we write here. Because what is asked to prove, okay, what is asked to prove, it will have, if I show you what is in the sum, if I show you what is asked to prove is PS square and PQ square. So if we take this particular triangle PTS, okay, we will get PS, okay, but we will not get PQ. But PQ we can get from this bigger triangle. So we'll see how we can do that. So coming back, as I told you, we will take triangle PST as a right angle triangle. So PS square is equal to PT square plus ST square. Now PS square we'll keep as it is because we want PS square to be proved. And other thing we want to prove is PQ. Now instead of PT square, we'll put it is root 3 upon 2 PQ. This is opposite to 60 degree. We had written the statement. We had written that the side opposite to 60 degree is root 3 upon 2 the hypotenuse. So side opposite to 60 degree, that is PT, is root 3 upon 2 the hypotenuse, that is PQ. So PT is root 3 upon 2 PQ we had written, and that is what we have substituted here. That PT is nothing but root 3 upon 2 PQ. Since it is square, we have put full square. Plus, instead of ST, this just now what we found, ST is PQ upon 6 is substituted here. So now this whole thing we have got PQ equal to. Okay. Now we just have to solve, that is root 3 square root gets cancelled, we'll get 3. Then PQ square and 2 square is 4. So this we get. Plus PQ square upon 6 square is 36. Okay. After that, same I told you that we cannot solve the fraction with different denominators. So we have to equalize the denominator. So here 4 we can convert to 36 by multiplying by 9. So what we do here is we just multiply 9 with 4 so that we get 36. And if we are multiplying 9 down, we have to multiply 9 up also. So 9 3s are 27 p square plus p square upon 36. So it is 28 p square upon 36. Now this is PS square equal to, whatever we have got is PS square equal to, we have to take square root on both the sides. Okay, so we will not take square root on both the sides, sorry. We have to leave it as PS square because it is asked to prove PS square. So what we do is, we try to solve this. Okay, so 4 9s are and 7s are. So when we just reduce this, we get 7 upon 9 p square. And now just shift the 9 to the other side. And 9 ps square is equal to 7 is proved. So here, after getting this particular statement that P s square is equal to 28 upon 36 PQ square, try to reduce it to the lowest form, 7 upon 9, and 9 has to be just shifted here. Homework. Complete the sums from problem set 2 in your notebook. Thank you.